Hello everyone, and welcome to another ASUG affiliate webcast. My name is Susan Revoletto, Membership Support Specialist here at ASUG headquarters in Chicago. I will be your moderator for this event. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to join us for this presentation. Today's webcast is being recorded. The link to the recording and the accompanying slides will be posted to the ASUG website, and all registrants will receive an email with the link to those materials. Today's webcast, Ask a Fixer, Gain better visibility of inventory costs within your ERP system, is brought to you by ERPfixers, an ASUG affiliate sponsor. I'd like to remind our audience members that you can submit your questions at any time by clicking the purple Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And now I'd like to hand it off to Paul.
Thanks, Susan. Hello, everyone, and thanks for coming to this webcast. The next 3 slides, I'm going to talk about what ERPfixers is, who's speaking in this webcast, and what we'll cover. So ERPfixers is an online platform for posting SAP requests, issues, and questions. We also offer optimization assessments in most of the major SAP modules. That's what we do. If you want more information, you can go to our website on ERPfixers.com. So in this webcast, the main speaker is Rogerio. Rogerio is an SAP consultant who specializes in the controlling functionality. He's worked in various areas, particularly in product costing and material ledger. And he's written a book called Configuring Controlling in SAP ERP. Now, I am an ERP financials consultant. I have worked since 1997 in the US and Europe in FI and CO, and I have also written a book on the financial accounting module in SAP. Rogerio is going to do most of the speaking. I will do this part, this introductory part, and I will also contribute to the Q&A at the end of this. So this session is about a standard report in SAP, which is actually enhanced. What we are presenting is an enhanced version of this standard report. And Rogerio will take you through that. But just so you know, this standard report is a report that not many people know about. I did a presentation last month to maybe about 100 people. 80% had material ledger. None of them knew about this report, even the standard part. So what we're going to hopefully teach you here is what the standard report is, but even better, what the report can do if it's got this enhancement we're talking about. And some of the things that you'll see is how to create drill down reports in material ledger, how to view inventory costs such as beginning and end in inventory, receipts and consumption by cost components, how to track inventory turnover on a periodic basis, how to view inventory costs according to various dimensions, how to view standard and actual cost components for inventory balance sheet accounts, and how to view release costs of multiple materials, multiple periods. A lot of these, in fact, a lot of these individual views, I have been getting questions about them for several years. So I'm really hoping that you'll get something out of this. So I'm going to hand it over to Rogerio, who will take you through the, most of the rest of this session, as well as the demo he's going to show you, and I'll come back at the Q&A and wrap things up. So I'm going to hand over to Rogerio.
Hello. Thank you, Susan, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. The goal today is that I want to present some functionality, okay, what we have in SAP as a standard and what we can enhance to achieve some new functions, okay? And for everybody that uses material ledger, a big point or big topic we have is this transaction called CKM3, okay? And then with transaction, we can achieve everything we want mainly. We can see the receipts, we can see the consumption, we can see transfers of material, okay? And then we can see the cost component split. That means how you break down your product. It can be raw material, labor cost, freight cost, overheads, material overheads, and so on. And most of the times we came to the same question. Okay, it's so nice, but if I have 1,000 materials, I don't have people to go material by material and download these from SAP, so I can have a good report that I can see everything. Okay, so it's a nice feature. CKM3, it's an excellent feature. It's in Material Ledger since I think the beginning, and we know that it's also in S/4HANA. It's still there, and SAP will continue using. But we still have this gap that is how can the multiple Material Ledger report, like a multiple CKM3 or that CKM3 that shows several months, years, okay. With the cost component, okay. And we can do price difference, PPV analysis, okay, from purchasing and also production orders, okay. Let's say, if we want to move further, what is the limitation of CKM? Okay, it's one material at the time. You cannot do any kind of grouping by profit center or product family. It's one not achieve the cost component split for multiple materials. So what we have with CKM3 with multiple materials with cost component split. If you look in SAP today, there are some hidden transactions that, to be honest, I don't know the reason. So I think I'm getting here that my voice is cutting. Okay, I'll try to speak slowly. So SAP itself, they have some standard reports. Okay, that's based drill down reports. Drill down reports. It's the technology that, for example, we see in COPA, we see also in new functionality, new GL reports if you use FGI0, FGI2, okay? And there is a drill functionality for CKM3 that SAP, it's not even, okay? So what we did, we took this functionality, that drill down report for CKM3, okay, that it's not possible to do the cost component split, and we made an add-on that we can enhance and achieve the CKM3 with multiple materials and with cost component split. Okay, so by doing this, what we can do, okay, we can do report by profit center, grouping profit center of material master data. We can do reports by material group, by ethical family, material type, okay? Different periods, we can compare different end inventory periods in the same report. And we can also compare cost components, okay? By beginning inventory, end inventory, consumption, and so on, okay? The functionality itself, it's very similar. Actually, it's the same functionality for COPA. So to build a report, as soon as you start let's say the enhancement, it's in your system, everyone that knows COPA can build the report. Okay, so that means for creating report, you have to create a form, and with the form, you create a report that refers to this form, and then you can use the report in the way you want. Okay, so it's not fixed. You can create views, different views for the same report. Okay, so mainly the report starts when we define the form. Okay, so if we look to this screen now, okay, we can see the upper part, what it's not in red, it's what you can achieve today. Everybody that use SAP today and you have a material ledger, you can use report already. The only difference that you cannot reach or you cannot achieve the cost component split. Okay, so the upper part, that means beginning inventory, price difference, multi-level price difference, quantity by category, by material ledger categories, you can achieve today by in the report, okay, and creating the form and also the definition for the columns and lines. The enhancement will bring the cost component split. So we are able now to show the cost component split by categories, by beginning inventory, purchasing, subcontracting, production, income production, and materials that you send to production, and so on. Okay, so you can do the same drill down you have in CKM3, that the folders we have in CKM3, like receipts, what you have in receipt that it's transfers, order, inventory adjustment, subcontracting, consignment, everything you have in the small folders you have in CKM3, you can build the report on that. Okay. After you create the report, so we start the definition of the material ledger report, create a form similar, as I said, to COPA. Okay. So as soon as we create the form, we jump to the report. That means which characteristics I want to display, to navigate from. So I can choose material type, material itself, product group, article family, and all others information that it's relevant or related to the material master data. Most of them is already available there. Okay, so that means we can do grouping for reporting. You can take, for example, all product hierarchy A, okay, and then you can see the cost of production from this product hierarchy. You can get all the cost production of the article family A, B, C, and D. You can compare different costs. You can do inventory turnover, okay, analysis, because you have quantity values in by cost component, values out, quantities out, beginning and ending inventory. Okay, so what we have here, we have a CKM3 standard, and that's very simple, material and all the folders we have, and then we have the breakdown, that it's the cost components, okay? If we look to the material ledger report, we also can see the same breakdown, okay? I do a filter in the way I want, by material, by period, or by material type, or by plant, okay? And then I can reach and show the cost component split. That means begin inventory opened by cost component, receipts, consumption, everything you want, okay? So let's say the dream of everybody that uses material ledger is possible. That is to achieve a CKM3 for all materials at the same time. So if we compare here, the same information I have in CKM3 standard, I have in the solution we developed, okay? So, but the difference is what I said before. We have the grouping possibility. We have the possibility of data that different periods, different material, different types, and so on. Another example of the report. So we see here that I can compare different periods. So let's say I can measure the seasonality of a product. I can measure the end inventory of each month for a product type or material type, or product group, valuation class, and even further, I can compare and reach the balance sheet account. So that means another question that we always get, how we can reconcile or to see my balance sheet account, my stock accounts by material. Okay, with this solution, we can also see the inventory account. So it will show the balance sheet account, and then you can compare with your financial statement in the balance sheet, it will match. Okay, so that means you have a stock opened by material, okay, in different periods and the way you want to see. This view I have here, it's showing by period. So it's one example what we do, and different categories, different component split. This is let's say what you can gain, or what you have as a benefit by using the report. Every time I go to a company and we present the report, they say, okay, I have the Now I can see the CKM3 in a qualitative way, but what else can I get from this? Imagine if your company, you have a very good defined cost component. That means it's not very simple that we only show raw material, labor cost, machine cost, but it's very detailed that use also the 20 available fields we can use to say which group of important material or raw materials you have in the system. So let's say you open there 14 type raw materials by the cost component, and then you have 6 for the active types. Okay? By doing this, you can measure a specific type of material, so you can see and compare what was my beginning inventory of a specific cost component, what was my purchase for this cost component, and what was my sales or my consumption production of this cost component, and what is my end inventory for this cost component. So that's into just one screen, you can see if you're purchasing too much or if you're not purchasing too much. Okay? And this will also impact your working capital. So you don't need to do this really divide numbers to identify what's happening. If you have a very detailed cost component split, it will reflect here, and easily you can achieve the inventory turnover just with a single report by looking in the screen. Okay, so it's a kind of benefit that it's not written, but just by creating the report, you have additional benefits. Okay? So what I will do now, I will do a short demo, okay, to show how the report works, okay, the definition of the layout, the types of reports we have, what we can achieve with the report, and then I will continue with the presentation. Okay, so let me share the screen. Okay, this is a test system that I use for create the reports, all the ideas for the material ledger report. And the first part I will show is how easy it is to create a form. Okay, so let's say I create the transactions. Let's make an analogy with the K30. So KKML 0, it's the report, the transaction that we run the report. KKML 1 is the one that we create. 2 we change. 3 we display. Okay. 5 and 6 we create the forms. Okay, the forms that we use for the report. So we have here, I have here created 5 different reports. Okay. I can see the material ledger itself, the detail. We have additional functionalities that I will explain also, okay? And let's show the form. So the form itself, you can see here, who is used to create COPA report, okay, knows that we can do exactly the same way. So what we do here, we define what I want as, for example, as beginning inventory. So I create a key figure that is total value that takes the preliminary valuation plus all the price difference, that is price difference, lower level, FX difference, lower level, price difference, higher level, and FX difference, higher level. Okay. What I did here, so when I call here total value, this is the average. Okay. So I put here category AB, so that means beginning inventory. So now if I go here, total value, beginning inventory, and I just select here the cost component I want to show. SAP will do the match and say, beginning inventory for direct material, I show this value. Beginning inventory for the cost component 20, I show the cost component 20, and so on. Okay? We define which cost component we can read. Okay, so it's not fixed in the report. I can define, or if you have one cost component or two cost components for the same company, if you use cost component, you can define which one you read, okay? Because it's based here. You define the cost component based on OKTZ, and then you have available the elements, the cost elements here, okay, the cost component. We can do report by cost component group. So let's say if you have in your OKTZ the grouping that you do for each cost component, let's say fixed, variable, or you have a different definition for the two cost components group we have, it's also available here. You can do even, so I'm saying here, this is the inventory, but the receipt itself, I can do and say, I want the receipt and to show only what it's from production. So I'll do this. How can I do? I say, I take category PU, that it's receipt, and then I can take here, just a moment, let me this category, then I can tell BF. Okay, so now I'm not showing receipts total anymore. I'm showing receipts only for the production line in CKM3. Okay, so if you want to do a real detailed CKM3, you can do. That is, each folder you have in receipts, consumption, you can achieve by consumption to cost center, consumption to WBS, consumption to sales order, consumption to production. Okay, all the categories, the process categories we have defined in the material ledger, we can check here. So I will remove because I want to show the report. The cumulative inventory will take begin inventory plus receipt, and then you have the cumulative, the same way we have okay. And now let me show another possibility of what you can do. So the filter area, what you can achieve, you can do the currency. Of course, if you have 3 currencies, I can restrict the currency I want to show. I can also have group currency or the currency valuation if you use. Okay, I have here the characteristics, that means from material master data. I can do by price determination because the functionality here, it's working now for standard. So let's say S3, S2, and V2. That means material ledger with absorption, that means the value flows from the lower level to the higher level for a standard price. Material ledger with standard price that flows, that you don't have the allocation of the price difference, and also for moving average. Okay, for the 3 types of materials we have, it will work. Okay, we have here material type, product hierarchy, WBS element. Okay, everything that you have here, you can apply filter or you can display in the report. Okay, and special stock as well. If you have stock on sale order, you can also display. Analysis by profit center. Let's see, the profit center that's stored in the material data. It's also there. Okay. The functionality is also ready for the alternative valuation run. So that means I can read the cost component split for my let's say main material ledger, and I can also show the cost component split for the different material ledger run with the alternative valuation run. Okay, so that means what everybody asks when you run alternative material ledger, that means a report that I can compare cost components in total. I can also do it. Compare 2 material ledgers at the same report. Okay, so it's also ready for the alternative valuation run. What we see here, I have here single and multi-level. So single level and multi-level. So what that means? So imagine if you have a finished good and you have a group type finished good. You can see the price difference and the valuation from lower level and from the multi-level. So you can see what the material or the product receives from the PPV, lower level. See what the material receives also from production settlement, production variances, and what it receives also as a multi-level. Okay, so it's a really detailed report. We can use the way your organization needs, okay, to see how the values from product A to product B, and also from product B to product C, and so on. So after we create the form, that it's this one here, okay, we save the form, we define the filters we want to do, the evaluation, if it's legal, group, and things like that, okay. Then I can create the report. The report will tell what I want to display, similar to COPA. So I just grab from the right side the characteristic and then move to the left side, and then it's available the report. Okay. But I created before. Let's run it. Okay, so now we see exactly. I will remove the filter, but I want to display materials. And let it run. So I can choose the price determination. Let's remove this one now. Okay. Similar to COPA, I can use a drill down report, the classic view, that it's the one that I called old version. The new one, it's kind of more web-based one, okay, the graphical report, and also by list. I can do the price determination to choose if it's 2 or 3. The report itself, it does the calculation based on the base unit of measure. So you don't need to worry about the unit of measure. The unit of measure, it's there. Okay, so you don't need really to worry. You can do different plants, different valuation class, and out you have the material master data you can get. While it's running the first one. Okay, so while we run for the multiple, just a point, performance, okay? You see, this is a system, it's a test system, so the server is not really long, so that's the reason it's kind of slow. But the performance, there is also, there is a big difference internally from what we have in the standard SAP report and what we have here. If you run the standard SAP report today, SAP will show lines with 0 because the program itself inside SAP, the standard one, it's not deleting the 0 lines. This one, we delete the 0 lines before we start the process. So it's much faster than the standard SAP itself, okay? I would say we run this for a company with 15,000 materials that they close, so that means we have activity, production, and movement. It takes 4 minutes to run the full range. That means without filter, just by period, I can run 4 to 5 minutes for all material in a standard SAP, not HANA, okay? So we can see by material. So I can navigate and my line or my beginning inventory, receipts, and so on by material. Okay. I can also do by period. This one I have only 4. I can do by plant. I can do by material type. So we have finished good or raw material, semi-finished good. I can do the drill down and move here. And I can compare finished good, semi-finished good, and so on. I can do by valuation class to tell which valuation class we are. So raw material, semi-finished good, and also the finished good. And the valuation class, it's available in the standard. but the GL account, it's not. So this is what I mentioned before. I can do the analysis by balance sheet account. So if I take here the end inventory, this by balance sheet account, it will match with my income statement, my finance statement. Okay. Lower level and upper level. This is, I really like this functionality because we can see the price difference in the level that it belongs. So that means if it is production variance or PPV, purchase price difference variances, or if it is from lower level. In the same way we have in CKM3. So let's say you can quickly tell if you run the material or if you run the report for all materials at the same time. If you take only one finished good and you take what its level, what you get there, production variance. What if you get lower level, then it's all the allocation from the multi-level process in material ledger. Okay. I don't need to close. So another question that people always ask: do I need to run material ledger or have material ledger closed before I have the report? No. If you run the report, for example, for April, you see the same data you have in material ledger today in CKM3, or that means material ledger is still open, so you have all the price difference, but not allocated to the correct level. If you take a closed month, then you have this in a closed month. The other part I mentioned, you can do reporting or by cost component group. That means direct material if you have the cost component group in the KTZ. So that means a sub-grouping of cost components. We have the possibility to add two in the customizing. Both of them are available here. So I have cost component group 1, cost component group 2. Okay. Another functionality that we have in the system. We also did the enhancement that we can display all the released cost, okay, for a specific period. So that means everybody looks to a report and say, what was my released cost in January 2015? Okay, with this report, we can achieve this. We can quickly check the released cost for each period we have, and it will tell. You define the cost invariant, so now I have the possibility to tell what was my released cost for a specific company code, for a specific plant, and a specific period. Compare different released costs. So I don't really to go to CK13N, see the status FR, and see what was the cost released in a specific time. Let me show here. Let's see if I have data here. I don't think I have data for the released. Okay, but the released and all the costs we can have at the same time. I can display. Okay. So now I will go back to the presentation. Let me show the last one. That is this one here. So today, what we have many companies that they want a PPV report. Okay, so they want to track the efficiency of the purchase department. That is, what was my price deviation from my standard? What was my effect on the price change? Okay, so we know with the material ledger in CK3 we can achieve this. That is, we saw the column preliminary allocation, have the column that is price difference, and we have the column that is effect difference. Okay, so we can, with the multiple material, we can also explain and display this. What was the effect on the price change, on the price increase or decrease based on the effects, or based on the price on the price difference. Okay, So let's take one material, for example. Let's do more here. Let's keep it running. You can define if it's of course, purchase material, finished good, it's production. So the PPV for purchase materials, you can show, and you can also show by cost component. That means if you have, as I said, a good detail in the cost component split, you can also show the PPV by cost component split. Okay? So while the report is running, I will do this. I will continue with the presentation, and I show again. Okay. So as I said before, what we can achieve here: PPV analysis by cost component, PPV analysis by price and effects difference. Okay. So today we have, let's say, I will talk about Brazil. So if we import a lot of products, this figure here, the FX, it's a big part of our price change. Okay, so it's very important for the companies that they understand the impact of the FX, the actual FX in their product. As I said, we can achieve the end inventory by balance sheet account. So imagine you go to the controller and then he checks the finished good account, and then he said, how much of raw material or how much of this specific raw material I have in inventory. Okay? With this report, you can easily explain. So you can say I have 30% of my finished goods stock, it's raw material A, it's raw material B, it's raw material C, or it's, let's say, if your production cost is not really the strong part, it's labor cost. You can also tell how much labor cost it's in your end inventory. So it's much easier to do analysis because it's actual cost. It's not that you cannot achieve this today, but you need to download the materials, see the quantities, take the standard cost, everything in Excel. In a single report, you can achieve this. Okay, this is a cost component, so another report that shows different cost components. So I can have how many cost components, or your company, if they have different cost components by company code, you can also achieve and design the report. As the report design is open, you can do whatever you want. So let's say you want to create a specific report for purchase department, they can track it. So you don't need to show production and inventory, begin inventory to them. The only field you show to them, it's receipts. And there we go. You don't need to show anything else. If you want to show only sales, you take only the component that is consumption and consumption, then you have sales. And this match with COGS. It's your account in COGS. So, and then we can ask, today, we don't have a functionality that opens my P&L account, my COGS account by cost component. Okay? If you have COPA, you can achieve this because COPA, you can do the cost component split in the actual way. If you don't have COPA, what the company do today, they do kind of split, guessing based on the standard cost they have, but they are unable to achieve. So with this report, if you take only the component consumption, and open by cost component, it will match with your P&L account COGS, then correctly your COGS open by cost component. Okay, so you can reflect and explain financial statements based on this report. You can, of course, we know that Excel is our best ERP, so everything we have here, we can download it to Excel. Okay? This one example that we can check the released cost for periods. Okay, so I can compare different released costs or different periods by any selection I want, by material, by group of material, by material type. So, Okay, so it's also add-on functionality. With the standard one, you cannot achieve this. Okay, this enhancement you can get. There is another functionality. So the same functionality, the same port that is the KKML, this functionality that we bring today, we can show different types. We can show actual material ledger. Okay. We can show alternative valuation run material ledger. We can show released cost at a specific period or different periods, okay? And we can also show all calculated cost. So then the costing key, it's the date. So I can also display any costing you calculated, if it's released or not released. If it's only calculated, you can also display in the report. Okay, I know that we have tools in SAP or reports that we can get this, but if I want, for example, everything that it's released, I need to go to the system, filter by FR, and so on. This report gives automatically. And these are the additional fields we have in the reporting. We have the standard ones, that means valuation class, plant, valuation area, and so on, plus the additional reports or the additional key figures I added. So that means product group, product hierarchy, account, sheet account, and so on. Costing key, costing date, costing variant, everything that it's written here, it's new, okay? That it's not available in KKML 0. Okay, just a moment, please. So I will just share again to show the PPV report I mentioned before, okay? So this is the PPV report. So I can get all the PPV if I have a good, as I said, not good, not that the cost component. If I have a cost component that shows exactly what reflects my purchasing, I can see where my PPV are, okay? And it's based on price or FX, okay? And now the PPV. So it's a really powerful report just to see, to measure the efficiency of the purchase department or the finance impact in the reporting. Okay, so I will hand it back to Paul. Thank you for everybody that joined. This is mainly the new functionality we added. We will have some Q&A questions, some questions that we can answer. But the idea is the dream of all controllers, that is to have a CKM3 that we can see all materials at the same time.
All right, thank you, Rogerio. We are now moving on to the question and answer portion of our webinar. If you have any questions, now is the time to submit them using the purple Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. All right, we do have a couple of questions. The first one is, basic question, what does PPV stand for?
Okay, PPV, it's a key, let's say it's a purchase price variances, okay? So most of the companies, what they do, they want to track between having a PO and what you paid, okay? So then you have the price difference that can be called by price variances, okay? That means the purchase department that put the PO, you can measure your purchase department based on that. So you show here the purchase price variance based on price effect, and also based on let's say FX, if it's imported and so on. So you can have different. So it's purchase price variance, okay? a KPI that most of the companies they track to make sure that the purchase department it's on track. Okay.
All right, thank you. Next question. Can we run these reports in both currencies, local and group?
Yes, you have the evaluation view, so you can run in the currency you have defined for the material ledger. The currency is one of the filters that you can apply in the material ledger. Okay.
Thank you. Next question. Can the report show production variances according to cost component split as opposed to SAP's variance categories?
It will show by cost component. Yes, because the cost component, the variance itself, if you have, you have to imagine that when we have the production variance, okay, if you reevaluate the activity rate, then you have the variance also for the activity rate by cost component. If you don't reevaluate in the order, then the variance is mainly variances, okay, like the SAP categories. So you have the variance by cost component split as well. Because if you change the consumption of product A to product B that belongs to a different component, it will show as additional variance there. Okay, it's not so let's say it will not tell all what SAP says by category. That means this is material user variance, this is price variance, this is lot size. No, it just shows to have a price difference in a line for this specific cost component. The detail analysis, of course, we need to use the standard SAP reports to do the detail analysis of the variance, but you can see the price difference by cost components.
Thank you. Next question. Is this reporting only available via an enhancement? If so, what is the enhancement name or number?
I call it enhancement, but this is an add-on that it's a product, okay? So it's a boxing, it's a develop that we do a coding behind to achieve the report. It's not really enhancement number or SAP enhancement, okay? So it's an improvement that we did in the report that we can achieve the solution. It's not really a number.
Okay. And another user said, yes? I heard the word enhancement a couple of times. Does that mean you use some sort of BADI to enable the different functions?
It's if we go deeper to what we do, it's mainly we enable. It's not a body, okay? What I can tell, the technology we use, it's not a body. We use the other functionalities, and then we flip behind what SAP will search for the data, okay? I call enhancement because it's really an enhancement the report, but it's not a standard enhancement from SAP. It's enhancement because the report gets better with this solution, okay? So we take the standard SAP solution, we make a change, and then we can achieve this cost component.
Thank you. Next question. What is the general convention for maintaining currency for material ledger? COD currency or group currency?
I didn't get the question itself.
So I'll kind of step in here too.
Okay, thank you.
So is it company code currency or group currency? So I think the question is, what is the general convention for maintaining the currencies in material ledger? And that's all I'll give to that is that you can have, well, you definitely need to have company code currency. You can't avoid that. But material ledger gives you an additional currency which you can use in your evaluation, which is group currency. So with material ledger, you can either have company code currency alone, which is the standard, you have to have that, or you can have company code and group currency. So you can have that extra option as well.
Thank you, Paul. The next question. The transaction KKML is available to me in the system. Does it mean I am ready to create my report? do I need to install some other things?
The KKML is available, I think, since 4.7. Okay, so you can create the report. The only difference is that the standard report you have in SAP today, you don't have the cost component split. So you can create the reports and you show the CKM3 in that closed mode. That means preliminary valuation, price difference, FX price difference. Okay, you cannot achieve the cost component split, and now the other three functionalities, that is to get the released cost and also the all calculated cost and so on. Okay, so that's the difference. The report is available today. If you have an old EHP, you probably need to apply some notes because there are some restrictions, but it's available today. Okay.
Thank you. Next question. Is this a standard delivered report in Report Painter?
Yeah. Gary, it's important that we have two technologies, okay? And then sometimes we mix. Report Painter, it's a technology that it's X and Y, that it's two, you cross column and lines, and then you achieve. So that means the cost center report, it's a report in Painter. This report, it's a drill down report. It's another technology that is, you have like a pivot table, okay? The KKML, as I said, it's available. You can use, so it's delivered in the drill down area. Okay, the drill down area you have COPA, you have new GL you can achieve as well. WBS you have drill down. Every report has multi-dimensional characteristic. It's called the drill down. So it's available there, but today it's available without the cost component and all the additional functionalities.
Thank you. Next question. Will the detail include prior period variance identification?
It's a good question, because imagine like this: when you have the material ledger, when you do the closing, okay, SAP moves all the variance and all the price to stock. Okay, so that means when you sell the product or you use the product to produce another product, you are kind of releasing the variances. Okay, so that means the variance that you have in the previous month, mainly from production of purchasing, you put in stock, and when you sell, you release this as a cost of goods sold. Okay, so you see this as a price variance in the cost of goods sold area. Okay, so it means different of COGS from standard and COGS from actual. It will not touch the area of receipt, like purchase order and production order, because it's related to the period you're running the report. But the release of the price difference from previous month, it's what you see in the COGS variance. Okay, the difference from standard COGS to the actual COGS.
Thank you. Next question. How do you create the report?
If you want to use the standard functionality in SAP, then you just go to the transaction, I said, KKML 0 to KKML 6, and then you can create the report. If you have someone internal that already knows COPA, they can create the standard report for SAP without the cost component and all the functionalities I said. Okay, so it's mainly drill down report. You just need to understand how it flows. If you have a COPA book, you can do the similar functionality for KKML, okay? The transactions go from KKML 0 to KKML 7. Now in HP 7, okay, 7, 8, these transactions are showing the menu. So if you go in actual costing, in the controlling and actual material ledger, then there is a line there called information system, then you have the KKML report there. So now it's showing there, but it's available since 4.7, as I said.
Thank you. Next question. Once the report has been created, can users create their own views?
Yes. And you can create own views, and you can assign transactions. So what I call as a view, like I mentioned before, you can create, for example, report for purchasing, report for consumption to cost center, report for inventory adjustment, okay? So you create different reports like the COPA. Let's say this is for purchasing, this is for production variance, this is for consumption, and so on. Then you can also assign this report to a transaction and give authorization to the user, okay? So if they don't use by KKML 0, you can create transaction and give the transaction to the user. So it's open. If you have the report, you can do the way you want.
Yes. So next question. How do we get access to the CCS data as well?
This is a product, okay, that ERPfixers, it's also supporting us, so it's a partnership. That it's a product that we mainly sell, okay? That it's to what I called before, to enhance your standard transaction, okay? So that's the way you get it.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. So yes, because it seems like there's a number of questions about, the difference between if a company wants to create the report themselves and if they want to get the cost component split. So basically, if you want to create the report yourself, as Rogerio said, that's the KKML transaction, and you can create a form and report just like you would with a COPA report. That gets you the basic views that you get in CKM3, like your beginning inventory and consumption receipts, ended inventory according to your standard costs, your exchange rate variance, and then your actual cost. But the other views that you get, like your cost component split, your released costs, beginning ending inventory for multiple materials, that part is what this product, this service entails. So that's the difference between what you can do yourself versus what we can do for you.
Thank you, Rogerio and Paul, for a great webcast. On behalf of ASUG, I'd like to thank ERPfixers as well as all of you who took the time out of today to attend this webcast. Paul, would you like to leave some closing remarks?
Thanks, Susan. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for joining. And I want to apologize for some of the audio issues we had during the webcast. Hopefully, the message still came across, and it sounds like it did based on the questions that we had coming through. So I just want to say that, as I mentioned before, ERPfixers is an online platform. As an ASUG member, you probably will see one of our banners on the ASUG website, which looks like what I'm showing on the screen. And if you click on that, it's a single sign-on. So whatever your ASUG membership is, it transfers over to ERPfixers, and you can post a question. We have almost 4,000 experts in all the modules on the platform, so it's very likely any issue you have that you want to report, we have someone who can handle it for you. And so we're happy to help out with any issues you have, and hopefully we'll hear from some of you soon. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, guys. The recording and the slides from today's program will be posted on the ASUG website, and all registrants will receive an email with the link to those materials. With that, I would like to close today's webcast. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.